Been knocked down, but I've never been defeated. I've been knocked down, but I've never been defeated.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Dylan Garcia here with the Never Been Defeated podcast. We got a very special guest tonight with us. This is the first interview, and I wanted to do my first interview with somebody really cool and inspiring, and probably has a lot of good stuff to say and to help musicians and help other artists. My friend Jayden Secor, we had the chance to work together during COVID. I've known this guy since he was in high school, and now he's about to graduate college, and time flies. So Jayden,
Sure.
how you doing tonight, my man?
Good. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How was your day today? Explain to us, what is the typical day of Jayden Secor? What is the typical day of Jayden Secor?
So it kind of varies by day, as a college student, you have different schedules and whatnot. But like today, for example, woke up, got some coffee in me, and then I went to work for the family business and worked a little bit, and then by that point had to go to my first class at about 10:30. So I go to school out at California Lutheran University, Thousand Oaks. So drive out there and had class basically from 10:30 to about 3:20. I came home. I had to work a little bit more, and then got some groceries, and then sat down here doing this interview. After this, gonna just kind of take it easy and whatnot. But every day is different, and I guess that's kind of what's fun about my schedule, is that it can change on a dime, and I don't mind at all.
So what time does your day start?
Usually I usually try to get up around like seven-ish or so. I, especially being a musician, it's rough. It's rough trying to get up early because you're usually working late every night. But some people operate differently. I know you're a fan of getting up real early and getting stuff done before the sun rises, and I applaud you for that. But I haven't gotten that far yet. So yeah, but around 7:30.
7 o'clock. And
Yeah.
so keep in mind, gentlemen, he's working for his family business. He's going to school, working on a 4-year degree here. On top of that, he comes back to work and he does music in the evening. This guy literally is playing 3 shows every week. How are you managing all this? How do you, I don't want to say balance, but how do you manage your time? Because it seems like you're going from 7 a.m. probably some nights all the way till 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's I have to kind of walk a tightrope of like having a plan for like what I want my day to be like, but also knowing that sometimes certain things can take you in a different direction. Especially as a musician, creativity can spark at any moment. And so sometimes you stay up late and do music, sometimes you don't. Really the way I've been able to balance it is just by continuing to find things that I enjoy in the things that might seem mundane. Like when I'm, playing multiple shows a week, I really enjoy playing live and, writing new material and stuff like that, working on new things, working on, learning new things from music, really kind of keeps me going. It doesn't keep me stuck in the same place. And I think that kind of keeps me driving for, even though it might seem like a lot for a day or for a week, it's I don't really feel as it's bogging me down. I enjoy it so much that it doesn't feel like work. It feels, like I'm living out my dream. So
Do you feel like you run at a high capacity?
I definitely have a lot of things going on my mind at all times, especially with, I theoretically work 2 jobs, and I, go to school as well. And, then you also have to, take all your relationships into consideration. And, you always want to give people the time that you feel they need and that you want to give them. So, you always have to be thinking about like, time management, and, there's 24 hours in a day, but it's how you execute those 24 hours, which really, help set you up for success and be able to do all these things and still be productive and not get burned out, and take those next steps.
You hit it right on the button. Time management. Because when I was going to school at UC Irvine, and one of the first things they taught us while I was pledging the fraternity was time management. Time management. I think that's what a lot of people fail at, is they don't manage their time, and they'll spend a lot of time wasted. They waste a lot of time. And so you hit it right on the button. Time management, ladies and gentlemen. How old are you, Jayden?
21.
This guy's only 21 years old. That's right. He just turned 21. He's only 21 years old. He's kicking ass. He's doing good in school. He's playing 3 shows every week. He's working. Now, do you work out too?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What is the Jayden Secor workout?
I mean, it kind of depends.
What are you doing? What are you doing? So I know your shows are quite up to 3 hours sometimes. What are you doing to keep yourself in that kind of shape to be able to be doing that 3 days a week? I mean, you got to be in incredible shape to be able to do something like that.
I mean, incredible shape might be an overstatement, but I do try to take care of myself as much as I can. I think one big thing is I think natural energy, and you can see the dog is stealing a blanket here. I think having natural energy and whatnot, and not being too bogged down, during the shows, that's like the biggest thing to me. But as far as like standing and whatnot, I mean, cardio is always good. It keeps it. If you got to be standing up for a while and putting on a show, you can get tired after a while. And audiences can see that, especially when you like get tired, and then they're like, "Well, what happened to the first half of the show?" So definitely cardio for sure is a big thing, in my opinion. So I would say that. But I like to lift weights and whatnot. I mean, I'm not in the business of having to look muscular, but I mean, I enjoy lifting weights, and I think that working out is also just really beneficial for anybody to just live a healthy lifestyle, regardless of if they're a musician or not,
And how's school going? Now what you got, so you're finishing up the first semester of your senior year. Are you gonna graduate in 4?
Yes. Yeah. So planning to graduate in 4. I'm on schedule for that. It's been honestly not bad at all, which is surprising to say, because I really take pride in my academics, and I'm not a big C's get degrees guy. I'm a big, I really want to have A's, regardless if C's still pass. Just it's always important to have a good education. But I mean, it really hasn't been bad. I've really enjoyed my college experience, and I'm looking forward to moving on, though, and definitely getting on with the next step of my life, because right now with everything that I'm doing, it feels like I am ready for that next step, and I feel like I know what I want to do, and so it's not as scary to be graduating college. It's like I feel like I'm ready. So
yeah, okay. Now, from what I see is like you got this go-getter mentality, right? You're not playing one show a week, or you're not playing one show, like you're really going after it, right? You're saying in school, you don't have that mentality that you don't have that C's get degrees mentality, because I know a lot of people that did have that mentality in college. What drives you? What drives you? Was this something that when you were raised the way you were raised, or is this something that you just developed by yourself? Like what's pushed you? Were you competitive as a kid? Like, I know you played baseball. Were you like super competitive with everything that you did? That not that you wanted to win, but you always wanted to do a good job.
Yeah, I think that just from a young age, I've always been raised by my parents to always be, to always follow through and never I mean, for lack of better terms, never give a half-assed job. You always want to follow through, because the what you put out is a reflection of like you as a person, and that goes for everything, both your actions as well as like like the music that you're putting out. It's a reflection of who you are, and the quality that you're putting out is a reflection of who you are. So I've always wanted to be doing as good as I can for where I'm at in life. I know, it's taken me a little while to understand that, I might not be the best right now, but I can be better than I was yesterday, or I can be better than I was like a year ago. And it's been able to have me, I've been able to like process that and really kind of take that into consideration a little bit more, and almost in a sense be easier on myself. Um, but at that same time, it's like, sometimes you need to be hard on yourself at certain points and certain facets of your life in order to progress. Because if you don't tell yourself the things that you don't want to hear, you might be just becoming stagnant, which I never want to be. So I always want to be, keep on moving forward. I want the next project to be better than the last, and everything
This
like that.
guy's only 21 years old, ladies and gentlemen. You see this? Look at this. Is why I wanted. This is why I wanted to interview him. Now, what was it that what age did you catch a music bug? What age? And then when did you know in your life that this is something that you wanted to really take serious, or that you even could? And when did you realize that you had the talent, and that the talent to actually do something with this? How did this all ruminate? That's what we want. How did this all ruminate? When did it start?
So I want to say when I was 11, I got a guitar for Christmas. My family, like, we've always been a big music family. We were one of those families where, like, if you're in the car and a song comes on, my dad would ask me like, "Oh, who plays this one?" Or like, "What song is this?" And it'd always be a quiz. And I will say I was very good at that game. But I got a guitar when I was 11 because I think I just played a lot of Guitar Hero, and they thought it might be a good idea to get me a guitar. And I just never touched it. Honestly, it sat in the corner of my room, and I never touched it for a couple of years. And we then moved from Las Vegas to Ventura when I was about I want to say 14 or so. And it was in that moving stage that I like picked up the guitar and was like, okay, I want to try to learn. And I really got into it. And I was just playing just for fun. I was just learning the songs that I like to listen to and what I thought sounded good. I joined the jazz band in my middle school, and kind of got me more into like music itself. I was playing trombone. I wasn't playing guitar. So, but the music was there. And then I made a little like, surf rock band that we played around a little bit. And that really kind of got me into the scene. But at that time, I still didn't think that this would be something that I would want to do, for my career, or want to really pursue. I was just kind of seeing it as like, this is what I do after school for fun, just hang out with a couple of my friends.
Was baseball
really
was baseball more serious then? Was baseball more serious then?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, now that you mention it, yeah, it definitely was, because I had grown up playing baseball, my whole life pretty much, ever since I could, really start walking and running on my own. I think I had like, a baseball in my hands. But basically, high school, the beginning of high school was kind of that switch for me, because I still love baseball, but I wasn't feeling the same passion as I was starting to feel with music. And by the end of high school, I had really kind of flipped my mentality, and I was like, I want to do music as a full-time thing. So, basically in like 2019, I got the opportunity through like a nonprofit organization called Notes for Notes, where I was basically over the summers teaching kids how to play guitar at a couple of the local boys and girls clubs. And I wasn't 18 at the time. I was like 17. I want to say I was 17. And so I was theoretically part of the program as well. And basically, there was a fundraiser at the Libero Theater in Santa Barbara where Steve Miller Band was playing for a benefit concert for Notes for Notes, and they wanted somebody from the program to play. And so I was luckily the person that was invited. I felt very, very thankful for the opportunity. And I'd grown up listening to Steve Miller Band, my whole young life, and so it was like I would be playing with one of my heroes. And I got the opportunity to meet him, and I played a couple of songs at that show in front of maybe like a 1,000 people or so. I could be totally messing up that number. It seems like a little bit ago, but regardless, it was a lot of people for me. And it was after that moment that I remember sitting in the car on the way home of that show, and I was like, "This is what I want to do as a career." And it was from that point on that I absolutely was just like, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do everything it takes to make it successful. And it just kind of leapfrog from there. And I mean, you kind of met me at a time where I was really getting into it. Like right about when COVID started is when I felt like the ball was really getting moving, and that's about when you and I met, and we started working on some stuff, and it was a good time.
Yeah. So what about like in high school? So you played baseball all through high school? You're all 4 years of high school, you played baseball? When were you finding time to do your guitar thing, the music thing? Like when you were in high school?
It was really rough. I remember the very first live show I played with my surf rock band. I had to like leave practice early because I had the show. It was down at the E.P. Foster Library in downtown Ventura on Main Street in like the little banquet room. And basically, I just remember like having to tell my coach, and like the whole team was there, and they were like, "Oh, like Jayden's in a band." And
I can only imagine.
it was a weird feeling. I mean, it's just normal, like high school kid, baseball team, camaraderie.
Yeah.
But it was it was hard because I, especially at the time where I didn't think music was going to be my career yet. I would like I would have school in the morning, I would have baseball practice in the afternoon, I would eat dinner, hang out with my family in the evening, and then like late at night I would be learning guitar. I think it was kind of those late nights though that where it's just you and the guitar. It's really quiet around, everybody's asleep, and you're not plugged into an amp or anything. It's just like your electric guitar unplugged.
Yeah.
And I was watching YouTube tutorials on how to play like blues scales and stuff like that. So but one of the things I think that really got me into wanting to do it more was I kept doing it, and I got better. And I was like, well, if I'm getting better now, I can keep getting better, and maybe I'll be able to play like the people I look up to. And I think by the time that happened, and as I mentioned before, like the kind of switch with my passions, I think it just came at the right time, and it got me to where I am now.
Well, dude, I give you credit because you still tried out it. I mean, you still went and tried out it as a walk-on, right? You tried out as a walk-on at Cal Lutheran.
Yeah. I tried. Like I said, I still have a huge love for the game, and I just think that I don't know if I had made the team, I don't know where I would be now, because maybe I would still be playing right now, and maybe I wouldn't be able to dedicate as much time. It's all up in the air, and it's something that I don't really think about because I'm really happy with where I am now. So there's no need to really change it, in my opinion.
That's good. So you've gone to Nashville now several times. You're out there, but what I want to talk about is a conversation that we had. Okay, when I think I asked you about, are you going to move out to Nashville? I think I said, would you move out to Nashville? Would you do something like that? I think you had maybe just gone a couple times. I think this is when we were working together during COVID. And I thought what I thought was so fucking articulate about you, what you said was like, Well, I'd be out there with a lot of other artists just as good as me, just like me, all trying to go for the same thing when I could be in Ventura being the best one there is. And I thought that was so fucking badass because it's like this kid, like, why try to go fit in with a bunch of people? Because I'm pretty sure it's a big scene out there where everyone fits in when you're like, no, dude, I could be bringing Nashville to Ventura and be like one of the only people doing it. And I thought that was so brilliant. It was one of the things I've always remembered, one of our conversations that we talked about. And how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, I think the big thing is it's like it's difficult as I've grown in my career that I have right now. Um, it your my mind kind of changes. It goes back and forth because the thing is that it's like, I'm here in Ventura, trying to, as you mentioned, like I'm trying to bring, let's say, like, Nashville to Ventura. But you know, I I'm trying to also expand out and expand out from Ventura to be, to go play up north and go play in other states and whatnot. And so I have a lot of love for Nashville, and I have absolutely nothing against Nashville, and that's the thing too, is it's like, I go out there so much because there's so many other great musicians out there that are just super fantastic people. I've made a lot of friends out there, and I love being out there. I think eventually, when I get to the point where maybe I'm a little bit more self-sustaining with the music, that I will move out there. But right now, it's kind of like we mentioned. I feel like I would be a very little fish in a big pond out there, and it's difficult, as an independent artist. I'm right now doing everything pretty much everything on my own. It's hard. You want to try to make yourself known as much as possible, and you have to assess your options and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, like I head out there all the time, every couple months. I absolutely love it out there. I love the people. I love the music. I love the scene because everybody, everybody's trying to do the same thing as you are. Everybody has the same goals and dreams, and a lot of people have the same work ethic as you, and it's honestly really inspiring. I always leave Nashville feeling really inspired to write more songs and book more shows and be better on my promotions and stuff like that. It's just like, it's super inspiring to be out there, and hopefully down the road I'll be able to make myself a part of that scene a little bit more.
That's good, man. That's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel when you leave? Do you, like, if you do, like you said, you feel inspired? And it's
Yeah.
like for me, that was like when I went to the Latin Grammy week, like when I got to interview people and stuff, and you get a chance to see how, like, big artists, like big how other, like, was it, like you said, have the same work ethic as you, and you see people working hard, and it is really inspiring, and because things could get really mundane just being caught up in the local scene. So how does it feel when you go out of town to go play?
It's
Like that you're not in
fantastic,
your
and I mean,
hometown, like that you're not in your hometown.
right.
You're going at, like you said, up north. You're doing shows. How does it feel like
Yeah.
when you step foot in another city, a new venue? Like, what's going through your mind?
I mean, it's awesome, and I mean, it reminds me of like back when I was first starting out playing, and it's like, everything is very new. Um, and I'll preface this by saying that I love Ventura more than anything else. Um, but nothing beats playing out of town and playing places that are so unknown that it's like exciting that it's unknown. And really, that's kind of a step that we've been trying to take for 2024. Because like the band and I, we're booked up basically till January of next year right now, and we're booking dates right now for there. And my goal is really to be like like I want to play somewhere that is, 30, 50, 70 miles away, and or even, out of state, just because, you know, you are reaching so many new audiences, and every single new audience is a new opportunity to gain a new fan, and gain somebody who hasn't heard you before or seen you before, and that is something that I haven't realized until recently. um because I, like I said, I love playing here in Ventura, but I love the opportunity to meet so many new people, and being unknown if I'm going to meet any people, if anybody's going to like my music. And I'm willing to take the risk. And luckily at my age and with my circumstances, I'm able to take those risks, to be like, am I going to be successful at this place? Is it going to go awful? Am I, are we not even going to make it there? Is the car going to break down? Like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to make those risks now and learn from them. And I really enjoy the unknown, really.
Now what's going through your mind now? Like, is that kind of stuff going through your mind? Like, oh, am I going to bomb this show? Is it going to go really good? Or do you feel like you walk in there stone cold, like Iceman from
Yeah.
Top Gun, and you already know you're going to kill it?
Yeah, not, hindsight, you always think about, like, or even, I mean, even before the shows, like, like a couple days leading up to the show, you're just like, oh God, like, I really hope it goes good. But, that's, I say that in terms of what I can't control,
Yeah.
like, I hope that, if I'm playing somewhere where, there's no ticket sales or anything like that, like, I hope the place is busy when we get there. Like, I hope that, I hope that setup goes good. I hope that we have a good sound guy. I hope this or this and that. As far as the music goes, though, I have so much trust in myself and my guys in the band, to be like, no, like, we're gonna kick ass, and we're just gonna do our thing. And even regardless if the sound is bad and if the place is empty, like, we're still gonna put on our normal show and give it all we got. Because if anything, the person that I want satisfied the most is myself. I want the music to feel like it sounds good. I don't care I don't care if nobody else is there. If we're playing to the bartenders, I if I think it sounds good, that is pretty much, top for me. I want to make sure that, I'm happy with my product. And if I'm happy with my product, then I hope that everybody else is happy with the product.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's only going to give me 3 more minutes, because I don't have this prima donna account with Zoom. So it's going to run out. We got 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay. One last piece, Jayden. Now, what would you tell any other artist that's like young Jayden Secor, falling more in love with music than baseball? What would you tell them if they wanted a career out of this? If they wanted to make it a career, what would you tell them?
I mean, really, just you have to really want it. And even when things get really, really difficult, you still, in the back of your mind, need to know, like, no, I want this. And honestly, I find myself sometimes being like, when things get really rough, I'm like, I asked for this. Like, I wanted to get kicked in the ass with this. And it's when you're able to push through those, and then when, if it's a long show, if it's a bad show, and or if it's like you're having to send out emails to venues and nobody's getting back to you, it's like you wanted this. And if you really do want it, you got to keep wanting it, and you got to push through the stuff that sucks in order to get to the stuff that's good. And yeah, so if I were to tell anybody, I mean, as cliche as it might sound, it's like, just don't quit, don't stop. Because the more that you push through the times you want to stop, the more success you're going to have in the future, and the better you're going to feel because you didn't quit. So,
one last question, Jayden. For all the inquiring
Yes.
minds, all the ladies out there, are you single, my man?
Hell no. Hell no. I
Oh,
have
he's
me a
not.
wonderful lady, and I'm
Oh,
not single, man. I got a
okay.
very wonderful lady who's very supportive of my music and my career, and stays the late nights, and yeah, and it's wonderful. I definitely found a gem, and she's amazing. So yeah,
That's good to
definitely
hear.
not
That's good to
single.
hear. That's good to hear,
Definitely
Jayden.
not single.
That's good to hear, man. I'm happy for you, dude. You deserve it, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
this is Dylan Garcia here with Jayden Secor on the Never Been Defeated podcast. Thank you, Jayden, for spending your time with us, man. And you put out a lot of really great nuggets. Check in with you soon, my man. Good luck with everything
Absolutely.
you got going on, man.
Thank you
Proud
very
of you,
much. You
bro.
as well.
Proud of you, brother.
Thank you.